If you're looking for trouble, I'll accommodate you. Otherwise, leave it alone.
Because back in the 60s, we were groovy. Just before you crash into the tree. Redneck water skis. Hi, welcome to Comedy Parenting Radio, the show that uses giant wheels of cheese for lounge chairs in the break room.
That's why no one uses the break room, Dad. It stinks in there.
Well, in any event, we are geniuses here, and we're going to prove that because coming up, today's show is entitled The Inventive Mind.
I just realized something.
What?
Well, the only people that would use the break room is mice.
Put your thinking caps on. We're going to be right back.
Okay, forest animals, kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow, have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. River, how's the temperature?
It's 50, refreshing 2 degrees, man.
I love bird songs. Squirrel.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. Bird songs, practice. Okay, turtle.
The forest has been preparing just for you. To learn more about cool things to do in the cool forest, visit discovertheforest.cool, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Forest Council.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio.
You may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
Welcome back to Comedy Parenting Radio, The Inventive Mind. You know, I invented something when I was a young teenager.
Yeah?
A prodigy.
Did it involve wheels?
No.
Did it involve explosions?
Wait, it did involve a wheel.
It did?
Is a pulley a wheel?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a wheel with a groove on it, according to my school.
A prodigy that does not know the basic machines.
Well, it is. It's a wheel with a groove in it. Because back in the 60s, we were groovy.
So, Dad, what was this great thing you invented?
Redneck water skis.
This sounds bad.
This sounds fun.
How did it work?
I got an old barn pulley, which would be a wooden wheel. Those pulleys are about 6 inches across. And then I went and got some swim fins that were given to us that were about 5 sizes too big for me, but, you know, they were swim fins. Then I found some boards that were flat by about maybe 8 inches wide and 6 feet long. And then I nailed the swim fins to the boards.
Why did you think that was a great idea?
Because we didn't have regular water skis.
You didn't even have a boat.
Ah, that's where the genius of this inventive mind comes in. I took a rope and stretched it across from one side of our pond to the other where there were trees. And the one side was about 20 feet up in the air, and the other side was about 3 feet up in the air. And I climbed up in the tree using a ladder and stepped into my water skis, which were swim fins nailed onto boards. And I had a pulley up there with a handle on it, and I came flying down out of the trees, across the pond, and right when I got to the water, I let go of the pulley, and I water skied on the pond.
Ooh.
That actually worked.
How far did you go?
About 3 feet.
That makes sense.
And then I sunk.
That's about how far I can run on water.
I could have just put the swim fins on and ran across the water and got about the same amount of flotation.
I guess you're lucky you didn't faceplant.
Yeah. Anybody else ever invent anything?
I did.
Okay, tell me about that.
A roller skate car.
For going in a roller rink? Like a little car to drive around a roller rink?
No, silly. It wouldn't even be able to do that.
What can?
I mean, it could, but I don't think they'd allow it.
How did you make the car?
I used 2 sets of rollerblades.
For $1 each.
Yeah. and I chopped off the boot part, so it was only the rolling part.
Yeah, with a little platform on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then I...
Nailed it to the wood, right?
Yeah, nailed it.
Like father, like son. You nail it to the wood.
Nail it to the wood. And then we got a bolt, a nut, a rope, another nut, a washer, and a wrench.
Why don't you go into like gory detail, like what the thread count was on the nut?
You don't have to.
Then I scratched my nose and looked down at my blueprints.
I used a 5/8 box end wrench on one end.
Which I had been given to me by my grandfather, and he had it from his grandfather. And his
let me tell you about the time my grandfather used this wrench.
After he came across
Guys, okay.
on the
Anyways,
Mayflower.
it would... that whole system, I used it for steering. So you would pull on the rope, and it would move the front 2 wheels.
How big is this thing?
I'd say it's about 4 feet long.
Yeah.
Is it in the shape of a Porsche or a Corvette or
It is a...
It's in the shape of a pancake.
Run over by a Mack truck.
You have a chance to jump off of it.
It's a really cool car in the fact that it can steer. It goes nice on smooth road, like porch or like anything that's smooth. It can have a couple of bumps on it, but it cannot go on gravel.
And you could put a picnic basket and a ghetto blaster on it if you needed to. Previously
to this, we had another car. And previously to that, we had made ourselves a little Jeep and put it on some blocks that we would play in. And then Dad let us...
Wait, on blocks? Like your car was up on blocks?
Yes.
Are you in a rough neighborhood or what?
A very
You
rough
are the rough neighborhood.
Yes.
We put our own car up on blocks.
Anyways, and so we took that body and we bolted it to an old pallet, and it was really good, except for oftentimes, since pallet wheels can go in any direction they want.
There's no such thing as pallet wheels.
Yeah, there.
No.
Yeah, there.
I put the wheels on the pallet. I nailed the wheels to the pallet.
No, you didn't. They were screwed. Your Honor, this man is innocent.
No, he's a liar.
I affixed the wheels to the pallet. So you grew up thinking that pallets have wheels, but they don't.
I know that most of them don't, but I just thought that one did. Anyways, so the only problem with it is that you can start going down a hill, and oftentimes you'll end up going either backwards or sideways down the hill eventually.
Because the wheels just spin around and around and around.
Yes.
They swivel. They swivel.
A lot of the time, it would not be great because you'd be going down in the car sideways downhill, and then it'd flip. The entire car would flip.
Oh, speaking of...
That explains the high cost of Band-Aids at our house.
One time, we had some friends of ours, they got in the car...
And we shoved them down the hill.
And then they were going fast, so they pulled on the brake, and guess what?
A bunch of cookies fell out of the sky?
The absolutely every single time that a person is going down a hill fast in a movie, this is what happens.
The brake snapped.
Ooh, Calvin and Hobbes.
It's a piece of wood and the thing just snapped in half.
You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, The Inventive Mind. I'm going to go look for things to attach to a board. I'll be right back.
My neighbor Carl, he lives next door. Pink flamingos on his porch. At night he teaches driving school, and he sits out by his plastic pool. He takes off his shirt.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is Crazy Russian Dad. You're listening to Comedy Parenting Radio. The job of a parent is to make their children miserable.
And the people in the houses all go to the university, and they all get put in boxes, little boxes, all the same. And there's doctors, and there's lawyers, and business executives, and they're all made out of ticky-tacky, and they all look just the same.
We're back with Comedy Parenting Radio, the Inventive Mind.
Our minds are just oozing with inventions. Josh, what have you made recently or sometime in the last 15 years?
What have I made?
Mm-hmm.
What have I made?
What have you made of yourself?
Well, that's a good question. No, in all seriousness, though, I used to love making contraptions.
Notice the word trap in the middle there.
I wanted a method of propulsion that didn't require gas, so I invented a piston that was essentially a tin can that had a hole cut in one end, into the side of one end, and then on the other end you would stick in a bunch of pie pans that had been stuck together, and that was one of the moving parts of the piston. And essentially what you did is you filled up the can with hot air, and it pushed the piston away from it, and then once it reached the hole in the end, it just vented all of the pressure, and voila, you have your discount beanbag cheap Chinese junk piston.
Did it ever move anything?
No. I could not generate enough steam for that to work. Another invention that's not mine, it was a neighbor friend of ours. He invented a pouring thing. I believe the one he showed me that got me on this idea was it was an orange juice jug. One of those square, tall orange juice jugs. So you would have it, and then you'd have it like on a wall or something, and it's there with the orange juice jug attached to it, and then you let the string go, as the contraption opens, the jug tilts, and therefore it allows you to pour it just by pulling on this string. And I took that idea and ran with it. I came up with an idea for like a refrigerated box and everything, and a larger version for like milk jugs and stuff. But
if you had the pouring thing and your string was 8 feet long, you wouldn't be able to hold the cup close enough. What would you do?
Why wouldn't you be able to hold the cup enough?
Because the string is 8 feet long.
Just grab the string further up.
Oh, yeah. Comedy Parenting Radio. The Inventive Mind. Stay tuned.
Howdy, all of you kings, lords, and pheasants. Are you being raided by Picts on Thursdays and Huns on Saturday nights? If so, boy, have we got the solution for you. Introducing Castle in a Box. A complete castle fortress complex in a box that you and your lady can set up in an afternoon. It comes with simple directions. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, you mow a big green square out on your lawn. 2, you cut the box open with a sharp knife. 3, you match up the colored tabs to the colored slits. And 4, you affix them together using the included Scottish tape. Here's a testimonial from one of our satisfied customers.
I ordered the castle in the box and set it up in one easy afternoon. I was able to keep the Viking ballet troupe at bay for 2 months until they got rips in their tights and had to leave.
So order your box of Castle in a Box today.
Castle in a Box. Never accept substitutes.
Castle in a Box is not intended for usage in any areas with precipitation. Castle in a Box is not effective against Rat King and Sword. Castle in a Box may actually attract rodents. Do not attempt to barbecue in your backyard while using Castle in a Box. Colorblind people should not order Castle in a Box unless recommended by their doctor. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, and not being invited to real castles. Attempting to fight fire-breathing dragons while in Castle in a Box may void warranty.
Comedy.
Parenting.
Radio.
You're back with Comedy Parenting Radio, the Inventive Mind. I had a cool incident with a parachute once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were given a parachute. Why people give us swim fins and parachutes and things like that is, I don't know if they want us kids to get hurt, but we had this full-size parachute with strings and everything, and I took it outside on a really, really, really windy day. 6-man toboggan. It's snowy out there, and I pointed the toboggan toward the woods that would be going across the field, and popped open the parachute and jumped on the toboggan, and I hung on the straps of the parachute and hung on to the little ropes of the toboggan, and I went sailing across the field about 30 miles an hour on the toboggan on the snow, heading toward the woods. And then just before you crash into the trees, you let go of one side of the parachute, and then it floats away and
wow,
tangles up all the strings.
That must have been fun.
Lots of fun. So what it is, it's like about an hour's worth of preparatory work and an hour to walk back home and about a 1-minute ride. You've been listening to Comedy Parenting Radio, the Inventive Mind. I guess we're not really quite the geniuses we thought we were.
Yeah.
With one exception.
What?
Boy, do we know how to nail things onto boards.
We should get a patent for that.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
We have to put the board in a neutral place where no one will tamper with it.
So that's here?
Yes, you're like Switzerland.
I don't want to be Switzerland.